So actually, let us discuss from chapter all the 6 chapters in brief, and then complete chapter 7. So first 6 chapters, the living entity has been described as a spirit soul, non-material, capable of elevating himself to self-realization by different types of yogas. And end of chapter 6, it's been clearly stated that the steady concentration of the mind upon Krishna, Madgate Rantaratmana, or Krishna consciousness, is the highest form of all yoga called Bhakti Yoga. So, chapter 6, we have seen this. Chapter 6 starts. Actually, chapter 6 is a very important and interesting chapter. From verses 1 to 9, you read 2 to 10 or 1 to 9. It talks completely about mind only. And it is so important uh, because of the mind only, everything that happens in our life is because of the mind only, because of how we perceive things. Because intelligence, it doesn't do anything, it doesn't have any feelings, it can only execute, it can only plan. Hmm. And then the senses, they just know nothing except enjoying. But the planning, everything, willing, feeling, everything comes from mind only. So that's why in chapter 3 we have discussed the mind is actually like a sandwich. It's like a jam in between two slices of sandwich. The bottom sandwich is the senses, and the top one is intelligence. Middle is mind, but that is the most important thing. And that's why we need to control the mind by purifying our intelligence and also by controlling the senses. So that's why mind is important. And so this chapter 6, please go through these verses where it says, mind, for one who has conquered mind, it's the greatest friend. And if he's not one who did not conquer the mind, he is actually listening to the mind, then that mind becomes his greatest enemy. Krishna explains. So, and then there's so many other things that's been explained about mind. So when you read that, Hare Krishna Mataji, when you read that, you actually understand everything about mind. So read the translation, purport by Prabhupada, and also the shlokas. Then you understand what we are actually. So what we and why we are suffering like this, because icha dvesha samuttena dvandva mohena bharata. So the mind is always doing two things, icha and dvesha. So icha means desires, and dvesha means it wants to avoid, it hates. So basically love and hate. So some things we like, some things we don't like, some things we like. Anything we are actually differentiating. अरे मेरे को ये अच्छा नहीं लगता. I like this one, I don't like this one. So mind, this is all happening due to mind. And very few people are can be neutral, and that is actually a good state to be in. Neutral, being neutral. So the first 6 chapter, Krishna explains about a lot of things actually. One is, but the most important thing is, Krishna explains we are not actually this material body, we are the spirit soul by which the material body is actually moving. So Krishna gives in chapter 2 itself Atma Tattva, knowledge of the soul. न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचिन्नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूय अजो नित्या शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. So many things just about soul. It cannot be burned by any weapon, it cannot be killed, it cannot be made wet, nothing can destroy it. So many things. And there is no birth, there is no death. If there is no birth and no death, then what about we? We are. So it is only the material bodies that are actually coming and going, but the soul that is going through the material bodies, it's actually the same soul. So that's what is explained. And then also first 6 chapter, Krishna explains about different types of how to perform what karma. karma yoga, nishkama karma yoga, sakama karma yoga, and also the different steps on the yoga ladder. So somebody starts his life, spiritual life from karma kanda, performing activities to get some good results, doing as per shastra vidhi. Then slowly from karma kanda he becomes sakama karma yoga. Matlab he says, चलो ठीक है मेरे लिए बहुत किया मैंने, let me do something for Krishna. But then he says, I do something for Krishna, but फिर भी मेरे को भी थोड़ा चाहिए. तो अगर चलो ठीक है 50-50, भगवान आपको थोड़ा ये दे दूंगा मेरे को. So that's sakama karma yoga. So he's expecting some results. And then nishkama karma yoga means no expecting results, nothing, just working for Krishna. So, and then after that there is jnana yoga. Jnana yoga is thinking about developing this knowledge about the body. What is this body made up of? And then people think, okay, earth, water, fire, ether, okay, but I am not this body, all this knowledge. And then Ashtanga Yoga, meditating on the Paramatma within the heart. And then after that, you come to Bhakti Yoga. So that is the topmost. So in first 6 chapter, Krishna explains about this, mainly about Karma Yoga, and gives a little bit of Jnana as well. So it is said that Krishna, Bhagavad Gita is divided into 18 chapters. First 6 chapter talks about mainly about karma, how to perform action, what actions to do, all this. Last 6 chapters will give you knowledge, jnana. Jnana means, so why this, when we do this, why it happens, like the aisa kyun hota hai, aisa, all this. But the middle section is the most important section, that is bhakti. So that is why it is said Krishna actually has kept, because you see, anyone, it's compared like bhakti is compared to a jewel, and jnana and karma are compared to the jewel box lids. One is at the bottom, one is on the top. So the one inside is the bhakti. Like that, Krishna actually puts bhakti in the middle, safe. So up to 6 we have seen about its karma and all these things. But now from 7 we will start reading about this jnana. Jnana Vijnana Yoga it's called as. So this is a knowledge not the previous jnana we have discussed. The previous jnana means about the jnana yogis who want to merge into Brahman realization. They think there is no body, Bhagavan is Nirakar, and then God means light. I just go and merge in the light. I also become light, like that. This is not that jnana. This knowledge is actually knowledge about the Lord, because chapter 6, Krishna finishes that chapter with one verse. Yoginam api sarvesham madgaterantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yo mam same yukta tamo mataha. After explaining everything about this yoga, how to perform this yoga and all this, and also explains about 3 doers. Any action we perform, Jiva performs an action, then Paramatma sanctions it. And once Paramatma sanctions it, material nature provides whatever it is. So these 3 doers also we discussed. But then finally, after going through all that, Krishna says that yoginam api sarvesham madgaterantara. The best among all these types of yogis, the one who is always thinking about madgater antaratmana. Shraddhavan bhajate yomam samay yukta, who is rendering service to me. Like that. So, which is basically devotional service, bhakti yoga. Because Ashtanga yogi, they don't do any bhakti, they don't do any service, they sit down and they meditate. And Jnana yogis, they don't do too much bhakti as well. They are actually reading scriptures, analyzing matter and all this. So they don't do much. So it's only bhakti yogis who do this service. And then when these bhakti yogis do this service of worshipping the deity and everything, then all these Jnana yogis and these yogis, they laugh and say, "Are kya? No, he's a लगता है भावुक है, he's a sentimentalist. इतना इतना छोटा इसको करे तो क्या होगा, like that they will sing. they'll think the deities are like small toys. What is the point? You're worshipping small toys. What will happen? No, so, but then Krishna explains clearly that this is Bhakti Yoga. Okay, let's see what is there. So, here from chapter 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, Krishna actually explains about devotional service, and also he gives knowledge about himself as well. Because unless you know, so far Krishna did not give too much details of himself. Up to 6 chapters, Krishna did not tell about anything about himself. He told that, okay, I am Natve Vaham Jatunasham Natva Meme Janadipa. I was always present, you are also present, but I remember everything. You don't. Krishna did all those things he said. Janma Karma Chame Divyam Yevam Yoveti Tattva. Krishna says that one who knows my appearance and disappearance, upon giving up this body, you will not come back to this world. Like that, Krishna says, but he didn't give specific details of his. And unless we know the details, then how do we actually so develop a attachment or love for him? For example, if you don't know anything about some person, Ignesh, आपका arranged marriage है, love marriage है? तो शादी के पहले क्या माता जी से बात किया आपने? एक दो बार बस इतना. लेकिन आपको माता जी के बारे में पूरा पता लगे है ना, लग आपका रिलेटिव्स, कजिन, सिस्टर्स, वो जो भी है, इतना नहीं.
हरे कृष्णा.
That means you have so much confidence on your family members selection, and that is nice. That is nice. Okay, but still, once you got married, शादी होने के बाद, you are talking to each other, and then you are telling, I like this, I like that. माता जी को बोले मेरे को ये अच्छा लगता है, ये. So after some time, then you both of you know what other person likes and dislikes, I know. So you know basically, and also you know all the stories as well. मेरे को intermediate में ऐसा हुआ था, degree में ऐसा हुआ था, all that stories as well. So by knowing all the stories, then you develop a love, a respect, a attachment for your wife or your husband. Similarly, unless we know about Krishna, we don't actually develop so much. Krishna or Bhagavan, okay, Supreme Lord, so what is it? What is he doing? So from this chapter, Krishna is actually going to explain all that. So that's what it is. So let's see all this. Can anyone read this? Is to
one dot. Like as you said, like Skam Yoga and Niskam Yoga. Skam Yoga means 50. Niskam Yoga means like you are performing a duty without expectation, right? You don't want that. So don't you think the Niskam Yoga and Bhakti Yoga is similar? Like same thing. If we do Bhakti, we are not expecting anything.
yes.
Right? So it's very simple. What is the difference?
It is actually quite similar. The only thing is, Nishkama Yogi doesn't have any attachment on the results, but still is attached to the work that he performs. Means someone is doing devotional service. He is very good at making gulab jamuns. So he wants to do gulab jamuns only. Cooking बोले तो he wants to make only gulab jamuns. That's all. अगर गुलाब जामुन किसी ने आके बोला, अरे बाबू जी आप गुलाब जामुन मत करें ये हफ्ते, don't make gulab jamuns, you make puris. So no, I can't make puris. I want to make gulab jamuns only. So that is nishkam karme. Means it's not for him. उनके लिए कुछ नहीं है, but still he is attached to that particular work that he is doing. He thinks I am a gulab jamun specialist, तो मेरे को वही करना है. So, but devotee, he will do anything. If you go and ask a devotee, बाबू जी थोड़ा टेम्पल में थोड़ा और क्लीनिंग करिए ना, हाँ करेंगे. थोड़ा पॉट वॉशिंग करें ना, हाँ करेंगे. थोड़ा कुकिंग करिए ना, करेंगे. थोड़ा डीटी वर्शिप करें, anything is doing. So that's the difference between Bhakti Yoga and Nishkam Karma, but very close. So slowly is getting there like that. So देखिए, we'll see all these 6 chapters. First chapter we have seen Arjuna sees all the armies, formation and everything he sees, and then He sees all his grandfathers, teachers, everyone assembled there, and then suddenly he develops compassion. Mm. He says, "I don't want to kill anyone. Why should I kill? What is going to I'm going to get by killing anyone?" And all this sab kuch bolta hai. And then he gives all the reasons, all the bad things of doing war and all those things. Kulakshe, Pranashanti, Kuladharma, Sanatana, Dharma, Nashto, Kulam Krishna, Adharma, Vivad, Supta. So all these things he gives. Dynasty will be finished, Kuladharma is finished, all these things. And then also the same thing continues to second chapter. And second chapter, Arjuna is further explaining why he doesn't want to fight and all that. And then finally he says, "Now I don't know what to do, whether I should fight or not. I'm totally confused. Please, Krishna, I am surrendering unto you. You tell me what should I do." So, what is that verse? Shochayan. No, no, no. Thank you, Babuji. Karpanya dosho pada swabhava prachami tvam dharma sammuda cheta yakshreyasyan bruhitan me shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapanyam. So it says Karpanya dosha, because of my miserly weakness. He says miserly weakness means it's not that Arjuna is a great warrior, he's got so much power, he's got power of 1,000 elephants. But then at that moment he was so much affected, he's not even able to lift his Gandiva. It's just falling out from him. So this weakness is, he says, Karpanya dosho pada swabha. He says this miserly weakness, kripana. Because of this, I am not able to do. So you please tell me. He asks, and Krishna then starts giving advice. So that's what. And then Krishna explains about the soul, Atma, and also Krishna explains about. So slowly he gives. Krishna first says, perform karma kanda, do your duty. Means you just fight, and if you fight, if you win the kingdom, then you enjoy the kingdom. Suppose if you die in the battlefield, you go to Viraswarga. So like that it says first, and from there he slowly takes it in different steps higher up. And then finally he says, Buddhi Yoga, use your intelligence. Don't get affected by all these things. Don't get affected by what is there in the Vedas. Vedas, all the words, sacrifice mentioned in the Vedas, they are like flowers, flowery language. To hear the Vedas, it's so nice. Yopam pushpam Veda, yopam ayatanavan bhavati, evam Veda, yopam ayatanavan bhavati. So everyone is also nice. But then it's all telling about only karma kanda. It's only going up to the swarga, not above that. So then he says use buddhi yoga, and then Arjuna asks, so who is this buddhi yoga? Arjuna asks, Kabashena Kutak Bala. So who is this buddhi yoga? How does he sit? How does he situate himself? How does he talk? And then Krishna explains all the details of buddhi yogi. A buddhi yogi is like a tortoise. Tortoise, when there is a danger, tortoise puts its all limbs inside, shell mesh, and then you can't do anything. It's safe. Similarly, the buddhi yogi, if there is some danger, means senses ka problem or and my senses are getting affected, then he withdraws the senses. Alright, okay, mobile mein, oh no, yaar, ye dekhne ka nahi hai, go away from it. So that's how you control the senses. And then Krishna explains that buddhi yogi is like an ocean. There's so many rivers flowing into the ocean, but the ocean doesn't get affected. It doesn't go up or down. Same level it maintains. Similarly, buddhi yogi, so many desires, thoughts, they keep coming because that is what it is. You get like 20,000 to 40,000 thoughts in a day minimum, something like that. So the thoughts are coming because of those so many sensations, so many whatever we see, our past life or past incidents, yesterday what happened, or whatever we have seen in the TV. They keep coming. You can't control them. But then a buddhi yogi is like a ocean. You just ignore it. You just let them come. Okay, okay. You won't act on it. Otherwise, what happens? Our attention span becomes like a goldfish. Anyone knows what the attention span of a goldfish? You know? You know goldfish? Better? Nice. Like it is said that goldfish has attention span of only like 20 seconds or even less than that. So that's why it doesn't, in the aquarium, it doesn't stay at one place unless it gets tired. 1 minute here, 1 minute there, 1 minute, second. Similarly, we'll become like that. And then we can't do anything in life. कुछ तो अच्छा ये करेंगे शुरू करें. And then I said, no, okay, I have to do that one. चलो हो जाओ. So like that. So that is chapter 2. And then chapter 3, Karma Yoga, Arjuna asks, oh, okay, Krishna, you're asking me to use Buddhi Yoga. So that means I have to use my intelligence. So I'll stop fighting then. Why should I fight? And then Krishna explains, no, that's not what I meant. You still have to fight. You perform your duty. Karma sannyasa, giving up renunciation is not an answer. You don't renounce the physical activity. You renounce your mental ownership activity. That I am doing this. Wo chodo. That give up that act. And then you are actually real renunciant. So like that in third chapter, Krishna explains. And then he also explains, even though you are qualified, Arjuna, Krishna says, even though you are qualified for renunciation, still you should not do that because whatever great man performs, common people follow. So that's why to set standards to show to common people, all our kings they have actually followed, like King Janaka, Lord Rama, in Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, I also do same. I follow certain rules and so that other people they just otherwise they'll say, okay, Krishna, I see kara mai kya like that. So that's in chapter 3. And then Arjuna asks an important question. My dear Krishna, what is this? I know what that is wrong. It is something that I am doing. I know it is wrong, but then I'm somehow compelled to do that action. As if something is forcing me. Within my mind, I know it's galat hai, but still I do it. What is it? And Krishna says that it's called lust. वो बोलते हैं, it's called lust. It is the greatest enemy, he says. Kama esha, krodha esha, rajo guna samudbhava. It comes out of kama esha krodha. From kama, anger, lust, all that. No. And it comes from rajoguna samudbhava, enjoyment propensity. मेरे को करना है, ये करना है. So Krishna explains all those things, and then he says, "You be very careful about this thing called lust." And then that's chapter 3, and then chapter 4, transcendental knowledge. This is disciplic succession. Krishna says that's where he says, "Janma karma cha me divyam yevamo," and then Krishna says, "I gave this knowledge to sun god Vivid's form millions of years ago." So this is parampara. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnanena tattvadarshina. You approach the spiritual master, offer service to me, and then render service, and then inquire submissively, and then you take instructions. So this is transcendental knowledge. And also in that Krishna also explains about how different people perform sacrifices. Brahmacharis sacrifice their shravanam, hearing, and then the senses, and then grihasthas sacrifice their senses to Krishna, and yogis they sacrifice their incoming breath, outgoing breath, all this. Ultimately, everyone is doing sacrifice. Without sacrifice, nothing is going to happen. So that's what Krishna says. And fifth chapter, we are seeing that what does it say?
Action.
Action Krishna consciousness. And then fifth chapter, Krishna explains about Nishkama Karma Yoga. Frees one from bondage. Liberation by focusing on the Supreme. Okay. And then chapter 6 we are seeing. So let's see. Chapter 7. What is the acronym for chapter 7? It's called the HEAD. HEAD. So whether you are planning for your next holiday or buying any house or anything that you want to make in life, you actually plan for it and you do all the reference, all the checks and go through different websites or reviews, and then you make a decision. So, what are we doing here? We are using our intelligence to find out what is the best deal. India jana hai, what is the best ticket that is going, which airlines are giving the cheapest ticket or the best service and all that. So we are using our intelligence and also determination. Determination matlab something we are doing, otherwise अच्छा ठीक है जो भी है ना ऐसा नहीं होगा ना. You have to actually do some. So determination, information gathering. So it is the affair of the head and the heart. Einstein once said that religious practice without philosophy was simply sentimental, and in more acute situation, downright fanatic. So in chapter 7, Krishna explains the key philosophical truths which instill confidence and conviction in the path of Yoga. So in chapter 7, Krishna is starting off, is giving our information by which we get some faith. Because like everyone will have doubts, like should I continue to say kya hai, karna hai, nahi karna hai, So Krishna gives some faith, you can do it. And then he gives so many examples. So we've seen head, no? Head, hearing. Modern thinkers talk of proving everything scientifically and rejecting anything which cannot be directly perceived. While this may seem logical, objective, and rational approach, it does have inherent limitations. How do you discover that which lies behind your immediate perception? So, what is the best and easiest way? Now, of course, Chat GPT and everything. Actually, I've seen an interesting article. There is one in from a very famous institute of how do you pronounce it? Institute of Massachusetts. Okay, with the US में क्या है वो? Mass? Yes, yeah. Okay. So he's a professor in that, and he's telling that people have become a little bit crazy, and they are investing too much in AI, artificial intelligence. But in due course of time, they'll realize that it's not actually that much. And then he said, it's interesting, he said that in due course of time, they will actually take whoever people they have employed, they are taken out, they are going to take them back. So that so because it's AI, logically it sounds good, or सब कुछ machine ही करेगा. But unless there's a brain behind it, it's very hard. And to bring one machine to the stage of human, it takes a lot of. Of course, some other things it can do very easily, like calculations, 10 billion into 25 trillion or something. It can do okay, but there's so many other things it cannot do. For example, a machine cannot smell. So many things like that. So what is the best way to find out the truth? You ask the right sources, reliable sources. So if a child wants to find out whose her father is, then he has a couple of options. One option is he can go to his mother and ask, Pitaji kaun hai? Or other option is you can do latest scientific technology, DNA, whatever, mapping, genetic mapping, and you can go on. But which is simpler? Simpler is just ask mother, who's my father? And mother will straight away say. Similarly, what else? You are watching some TV programs. So for that, what do? You go to a TV guide and see what programs are there. Monday kya hai, Tuesday kya hai, and all that. Similarly, you want some information. So the Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, it's like a mother. It's like a mother. And then you ask her and she will actually give. So Gita also is like that. The scriptures, Vedas also give, they give the right information. So Krishna begins this chapter by stressing absolute necessity of hearing from spiritual sources, higher authorities, to grasp cosmic truths. This is known as the descending path of knowledge. Descending path means coming from top to bottom, not ascending. Aroha and Avroha. So, and then, so HE everywhere, verses 4 to 12. By hearing from authorized spiritual sources, one can acquire profound knowledge of the divine. It's a common challenge. Can you show me God? People, this is the most common thing. Everyone says, oh, if there is a God, show me. So Krishna explains in chapter, Matta Parataram Nanyat Kinchit Asti Dhananjaya, My Sarvam Idam Protam Sutre Maniganaiva. He says, I am like that string in that pearl necklace, the pearl necklace or any necklace, a string behind that is actually holding everything together. Similarly, Krishna says, I am actually holding everything together. So people cannot see the thread, they can only see the other thing. Similarly, Krishna is there in everything, but people actually cannot see it because they don't have that. And there's a reason also why they can't see. Krishna says, Sammoham Sarva Bhuteshu. He says that if someone is not faithful, if someone is envious, I won't show myself to them. Like that Krishna says in this chapter. So, and also what adhikar qualification they have. So if you say I want to see the Prime Minister of Australia, otherwise I won't believe he's there, then people will laugh at you. What adhikar, what qualification you have? Why should he come and have his darshan to you? So, like that, to see God, we need to actually develop some adhikar. That adhikar is nothing. You don't need to be a millionaire. You don't need to be a intelligent person. You don't nothing. You just need to be. You need to have this devotion. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santa sadaiva hrudayeshu vilokayanti yam shama sundara machincha guna swarupam govinda madi purusham tamaham bhajami. So once when our eyes are anointed with isko kya lagate mascara lagate na. Similarly, when we anoint our eyes with the love of God head, then through that eyes we can actually see the Supreme Lord. एक बार क्या हो गया व्हाट इज इट राजस्थान फेमस पृथ्वीराज चौहान famous king, his wife was, who is Rani Ratnavali, his wife or daughter, one of them. So she used to have a servant, so many maids they'll have. So that servant is actually Vaishnavi. She's a devotee of Krishna. So, and so that servant, she used to do as the same thing that we do. Kuch bhi time mil gaya, so she used to go sit down and chant. And sometimes she would go into ecstasy and she would cry thinking about Krishna and all this. And then this Rani Ratnavali was quite interested. Are kya ho gaya? What is happening with you? What do you do? "Ye kya karte ho?" I'm chanting. What chanting? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Acha, okay. Then what else? What are you thinking? Sometimes you're crying, sometimes you're laughing. Oh, I just remember I'm remembering this Ashtakaliya Leela of Krishna. 8 times the pastimes of Krishna. Can you please tell me what is it? She explained everything to her. And then Rani Ratnamali also became a devotee. She became devotee and she started inviting all the Babajis and saints from Vrindavan to come and stay in the palace. So they're all coming, they're all staying. And she was actually doing kirtan with them, dancing and doing everything. And then also, finally, one day she actually removed all the golden jewelry, everything. एक कंटिमाला पहना है, and then she cut her hair, and then put tilak, and then she was. Dhuraj saw this. The king saw this. क्या हो गया? पागल हो गया क्या? What is this? And then he didn't know what to do. क्या करना है इनको? What can I do? He cannot kill her because killing a woman is people will not. That's a sin, and also. So what they come up with a plan. They said, okay, let us get a lion, man-eating lion. Man-eating lion. Uh, so the lion will come and eat her. खत्म हो जाएगा. So they bought a lion in the cage, and then they left in the place in one of the garden or somewhere where she is there. The lion came running, and everyone went away. Oh, And then Rani Ratnavali saw the lion. And she said, "Oh, Narsimhadev." And she started actually doing arti to him. "Oh, Narsimhadev, so nice you have come." And she's doing arti and she's putting a garland. And the lion, she just did not do anything. Sab kuch, she just let her do everything. And the lion just went off without harming her. So this is called Premanjana Chudita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hudayeshu Vilokayante. This is the devotee's vision. ऐसी लोगों को भगवान दिखता है. No, Hiranyakashipu asked that, where is your God? He says he is everywhere. He is in the pillar. And then Prahlad Maharaj said, yeah, pillar also there. He is everywhere. He is in your heart, my heart, everywhere. He is in the pillar as well. Oh, really? Okay, let me check. And he breaks the pillar which is fist. And then Narasimhadev came out. So that's what is Lord. So everywhere, okay? Accept or reject from verses 13 to 9. If God can be perceived everywhere and his existence is strikingly so obvious, why is there still the wholesale denial of him? People ask this question. अरे आप तो बोलते हैं भगवान सब में everywhere, तो दिखाते क्यों नहीं? All of you ask them, you should ask them this question. Everyone, you have this experience of taking ghee. Ghee पता है ना आपको ghee? Where does ghee come from?
Churning the butter.
Churning the butter. Butter किधर से आता है?
Lassi.
लस्सी से.
Like butter.
और वो किधर से आता है? मिल्क. तो मिल्क में घी दिखता है आपको? अरे क्यों? वो तो है ना. Similarly, God is everywhere. But then to see the God, you have to follow so many processes. And then you can actually see the God. Just like ghee. Similarly. So that's what it's. And then here Krishna explains, we'll do, what is the time? 46, okay. Krishna explains 4 types of people come to me. Chaturvidam bhajante mam jnana supritino Arjuna arto jijnasu artatu jnanena bharatarshava. He says, my dear Arjuna, 4 types of people come to me. One who is in distress, one who wants money, one who is inquisitive, and one who is the 4th one? Jnana, wealth. Wealth.
Books.
No. 4 types of people reject God. Okay, we can come back to it. And then 4 types of people who reject God. So, and then Krishna explains what are those 4 types also. So, each chapter that also comes. And then Krishna explains about devatas, demigods. So, today is actually, I think 2 days ago, no, the Durgashtami started. Navaratri started. So, what is that? सर्वमंगल मांगल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थ साधिके शरण्ये त्र्यंबके देवी नारायणी नमोस्तुते. Durga Devi is Narayani, Krishna's sister. So these devatas, people worship devatas. Krishna explains why they worship devatas. Because they want quick results. And interestingly, Krishna says, if someone wants to get some result, then I'm in their heart only. So I will divert their attention to that particular devata so that his desire can be fulfilled. So Krishna is actually giving us intelligence to worship that particular devata. And then so that their faith increases. And once the faith increases, slowly they will actually come to the higher level. So that also Krishna explains. Okay. And then finally this was, what is it? People are strange. They are constantly capable of
Angered by trivial
trivial things.
but on major matters like totally wasting their lives. They hardly seem to notice.
छोटे छोटे चीजों को भी actually spend. I know one of our relatives in India. When I used to be really worried if I were to go with them in a car ride, because 10, 20 years ago, Indian roads, most of them are single roads. Single roads, matlab, if any big vehicle, lorry or something comes, then that lorry won't give side. Mm. And then we used to have a car. So single road, it's easy for the big vehicle lorry to get down from the road, but they won't give side. And then it's harder for a car to get down from the road. So every 1 2 kilometers is fighting. Or lorry driver go chillao, no, stop the car in the middle of the road, and then there's discussion. Sometimes they even beating also, fighting also. So imagine if things like this go, हमारा what do you call? When do we reach our destination? पता नहीं. It's only 1 2 hour journey, but we don't know when we are going to reach, or we don't know whether we'll reach or not. So trivial things. As a Russian, what's his name? Russian Leo Tolstoy, Russian author. He wrote a nice, when I was a young English, one of those story. A spark neglected burns the house. Hmm. So there's two families, Ivan and Gabriel. They are living, and then one day Ivan's wife saw that their hen went to Gabriel's house and he laid some eggs. So and then she got it out that instead of giving those eggs to them, they have actually taken the eggs. There was a discussion, fighting, and then and everyone was fighting. There's a fist fighting, and everything was going on. And finally, Gabriel got so much angry that he actually tried to burn the house of Ivan. He set a fire, and then police came and they are interrogating who did this. Give us. We are going to arrest him and all that. And then Ivan actually saw that Gabriel was burning, and he's got all the evidence, everything. But then Ivan's dad said, "My dear son, listen to me. Whatever happened, this is too much. Hmm? Just keep quiet for the time being and let him go. Hmm? Just tolerate this." And then Ivan said, "Sorry, I don't know how it happened. I don't know who did this." And the police went away. And then Gabriel realized, "Oh my God, you are really a very good friend. Otherwise, I would have been in jail." And then he came and they became nice friends. Like so, so the moral of the story is small things. How it started from their hen laying some eggs there and all that. Small things. Anyway, so let's quickly look at this one. Some of the verses from the chapter. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Now hear, son of Pritha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt." So Krishna is, I will like declare you this both phenomenal numinous. So Krishna is going to give knowledge about material world and spiritual world. Hmm. And this being known, nothing further shall remain from you. And this is, what is that? मनुष्याणां सहस्रेषु कश्चित् यतति सिद्धये यततामपि सिद्धानां कश्चिन् मां वेत्ति तत्वता. One in 1,000 knows, strives to know me, and out of such 1,000 people, one person actually knows me something little bit. So that's what Krishna is explaining. And then Krishna explains that Bhumi, Rapo, Nalo, Vayur, Kam, Mano, Buddhi, Devacha. Earth, water, fire, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego, all these eight constitute my separated material energy. Krishna is giving about information about himself. So these are my material energies, Krishna is telling. And then besides this, oh my dear Rajan, there is another superior energy of mind which comprises the living entities, Jivatma. So Jivatma, spirit soul, is superior to this material energy. Hmm. All created beings have souls in these two natures. That means we have material body, the spirit soul in the material body. So everyone, there is a material and spiritual. In the material world, ऐसा होता है. But in spiritual world, everything is spiritual. And then this is the one. Oh, conqueror, well, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me like pearls on a straw. Matta parataram nanya kinchit asti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam protam sutre manigana iva. And this one, then Krishna is explaining further details. Rasohamapsu kaunteya prabhasmin sheshi suryayo pranavas sarva vedeshu shabdanke paurusham nuga. Krishna is giving further explanation. People who say that I cannot see God, you can tell them, Rasohamapsu kaunteya, I am the taste of the water, Krishna is telling. People might wonder, Pani mein taste kidhar se aata hai? Krishna is saying. So if people say, I cannot see God, tell them, आप पानी पीते हो रोज? Yeah, you drink water. Can you feel some taste in it? Yeah, there is some taste. Then that is Krishna. He's saying that. Rasoham apsu kaunteya. Prabhasmin sheshi surya. I am the light of sun and the moon. Pranava sarva vedeshu. I am the sound Om in Pranava in all the Vedas. Shabdanke paurusham nuga. And then and the paurusham, what do you call? The valor in the people. And then the sound in the ether. And then this one. And the original fragrance of the earth. So when do you feel the smell of the earth? When it rains and when we are walking, we can see nice smell coming from earth. So I am the original fragrance of the earth. It's so amazing. If you see at so many seeds, different flower seeds, all those flower seeds are different. But when you put them to the earth, each get a different smell. So everything actually comes from that original smell, earth. And then I'm the heat in the fire. Imagine Prabhuji or Mataji, they're working so hard and making something. Stove mein. Suppose if that fire doesn't burn or heat, then what is the point of fire? ऐसा कहेंगे हम. Forget about that fire. What about the fire in our stomach? Jataragni. Without that fire, you cannot digest anything. So this is, I am the heat in the fire. I am the life of all the lives and I am the penance of all the ascetics. O son of Kruta, Aham Bija Prajapita. I am the original seed of all the existence, intelligence of the intelligence. Balam Balavatanam. And I am the strength of the strong, devoid of passion and desire. Kama Vivarjita. I am the strength of the strong, devoid of passion and desire. I am sex life which is not contrary to religious principles or Lord of the Bharatas, Arjuna. And then these three things, goodness, passion, ignorance, आपको पता है ना, we have discussed. They all come from manifested by my material energy. But I am not affected by them. So people think when Krishna comes here, he also goes to karma and all. Krishna is clearly saying, I am not affected by them. And then deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion, ignorance, the whole world knows me, does not know me, whoever. Because of these three modes only, we are not able to realize the Supreme Lord. And then this divine energy of mind, consisting of three modes of material nature, difficult to overcome. Daivi Esha Gunamai Mama Maya Durachaya Mam Eva Ye Prapajante Maya Metam Tarantite. This divine energy is very difficult. That's why it's called Durga. Durga means it's very difficult. But one who takes shelter of me, they can easily cross over this one. Krishna says. And then here, those miscreants who are grossly foolish, these are the four people who are lowest among Naradama, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature, they do not surrender. So, types of people don't surrender to Krishna. Who are these four types of people? Let's see. Very interesting. Huh? This one. Four types of people are Namam Dushkritino Muda Prapadyante Naradamaha Mayaya Prutah Jnana Asuram Bhavam Ashtritaha. So these four types of people. So basically, people who are atheists, people who are highly intellectual, like scientists. For example, who's that scientist who died? He said, "I don't believe in God." Stephen Hawking said, "I don't believe in God." So scientists, Mayarpa Hrutagyanam, Asrin Bhav Mashrita, and people who are grossly foolish. So these they don't surrender unto me. And then who surrenders? Krishna says, "O best among Bharatas, four kinds of pious people begin to render devotional service to me: the distressed, desire of wealth, inquisitive, and who is searching for the knowledge of absolute." Acha, inquisitive and jnani. Of these, one who is in full knowledge, who is always engaged in pure devotional service, is the best. For I am very dear to him, and here he is dear to me. All these are magnanimous souls, but the Jnani, Krishna says, is actually close, dear to me. After many births and deaths, one who is in actual knowledge surrenders to me. Bahunam janma namante jnanavan mam prapajjate vasudeva sarvamitim samahatman sudullabaha. So that's what it's saying. So many births and deaths, who is actually in knowledge, surrender unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes, and that is it. Such a great soul is very rare. And then this one, those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires, surrender to demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations. So many rules and regulations. हमको पता है ना इंडिया में my auntie they used to actually come up with different things. गणेश का पूजा करो और क्या करना है डेली गणेश का पूजा करना है एक 1 रुपी कॉइन डालना है और like that and you do it for 40 days 45 days and take all the coins and go and put it in the temple or all this so take care. I mean, everyone's heart and super soul. As soon as one desires to worship some demigod, I make his faith steady so that he can devote himself to that particular deity. मतलब if someone starts worshipping, then कुछ काम हो जाता है, and then अरे oh यार I just start मैं करूँगा बोल के काम हो गया, so there is something, then he starts worshipping. Clear, Krishna is saying, no? Endowed with a faith, he endeavors to worship particular demigods and obtains his desires. But actually, these benefits are bestowed by me alone. So, unless Krishna, because the demigods, they have to come to him and say, "Arey, puch rahe kya? Can we give him like that?" Men of small intelligence worship demigods and their fruits are limited and temporary. Because what the devatas they can give is only they can give some Lakshmi, they can give some health, or so they can give, but they cannot give us liberation, moksha from cycle of birth and death, liberation from this material world. Matlab, there's people in the jail. Jail mein prisoners are there, and the prisoners they are asking higher authorities. They made some good friends, so they'll get a newspaper to read, or they'll get some mattress to sleep, or in the cell there is nice fan, AC, or some good breakfast. But still they are in the prison only. They are not going out of the prison. So all the devatas they can give, make our life comfortable, but still we are stuck here only. And then we need to keep on taking birth. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani, jatare shayanam, iha samsare bahudussare, krupaya parda, pahi murare, bhaja govindam, govindam, bhaja mudamate. So that's what it is. Huh? And then it's very important. Look at this one. Unintelligent man who do not know me perfectly think that I, Supreme Personality of God and Krishna, was impersonal before. Now assume this personality. Due to their small intelligence, they do not know my higher nature. People think भगवान को कुछ भगवान निराकार है भगवान when he comes to the material world he'll take a form. That's what they think. But actually, God form is eternal. Krishna's form is eternal. Rama is eternal. Nrsimhadev is eternal. They are eternal and they have their own lokas. Ayodhya Dham is there, Vaikuntha Dham is there, and then so spiritual world is actually 75% of the whole world is spiritual world only. Material world is only 25%. So, okay, clear ho gaya na? This is clear. And then this is one interesting. I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them, I am covered by my internal potency, and therefore they do not know that I am unborn and infallible. Krishna went for negotiation, and Duryodhan tried to tie him with ropes. Krishna go. He thought Krishna is the main support for Pandavas, so somehow if we tie him and put him in the jail, and all the Pandavas they will actually come for compromise. So he could not. He is seeing Supreme Lord face to face, but he is not able to realize he is a Supreme Lord. So that's what it says. So this is a nice verse actually. Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavrata mudoyam nabhijanati loko mam ajamavyayam. So that's I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them, I am covered by my internal potency, and therefore they do not know that I am unborn and infallible. And then again it's it. Oh Arjuna, Supreme Personal Godhead, I know everything that happened in the past, present, and future. I know everyone, but no one knows me. Ocean of birth, the control of all living beings are born into delusion, covered by dualities. So this is the same verse we have spoken, I think. Ichadvesha samuttena dvandva mohena bharata sarvabhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. Hatred and uh, desire and hate. Okay. Persons who acted piously in previous life, in this life, they engage in my service with determination. Okay. Intelligent persons who are endeavoring for liberation from old age and death take refuge in me in devotional service. They are actually Brahman because they entirely know everything about transcendental activities. And finally, those in full consciousness of me who know me to the Supreme Lord to be the governing principle of the material manifestation of the demigods or methods of sacrifice can understand, know me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even at the time of death. So this is final statement Krishna gives. Who can know him? So that's all. We just finished chapter 7. Now let's go back to this slide. Oh, slides. Okay, we can. Any questions or comments? Between that slides. Yeah, this one. So basically, this is a summary of all the 7 chapter. Any questions or comment?
Prabhuji, you said in one of the shlokas, like that Krishna said, like he's not affected by anything. It's just about we are talking about the karma or what? Like I just want to relate the story when Krishna attacked Sugri, like from when they were fighting with the brothers. I don't
Oh,
remember.
Rama.
Bali and
Rama.
and so at that point he cursed Krishna. He said like you will also not have all your generations will die. No one will be here. So how that is? Are we talking about the same thing? Like Krishna is saying, I'm not affected by those karmas.
Krishna is not affected, but what Krishna does is, no, this curse by Wali, it's not. It's just a story. It's not actually true. Because when you read, if you read Ramayana clearly, Ramayana, this pastime is very clearly described. And in that, Wali does say all these things. Why did you hide from the behind the bush? All these things he says. And Arjuna gives answers, very detailed answers for everything that he asked. And finally, Wali accepts all the answers given by Rama. And then he says, that I don't have any what do you call anything to say against you. And then he says he becomes a devotee, and then he dies in the hands of Rama, and then Rama. So that is just see, but Krishna arranges things. For example, in Maushala Leela, it is called as in Krishna Avatar. Krishna say people say that Krishna was killed by a arrow shot by a hunter Jara, and then say this hunter is actually that Vali, like that they say. Mm. And then last week that our Ayushman Prabhu also saying last time I met. And then I sent him all the details of why it is not so, all the links and everything. Basically, what it means is that Bali, he got liberated, gone. That is not a problem. So why Krishna is shot by this arrow, and how does the, because Krishna, when everything is done, everything is finished, you, he wanted to wind up all the pastimes. So Brahmaji comes and tells, my dear Krishna, whatever reason you came to the earth, that's all completed. Now, if you wish, you can go back. Brahma comes and says. Now, before Krishna goes, he has to take away all his Vrishni family, because they're all so powerful and mighty warriors. If we don't take them with him, then in his absence, they may go crazy and they may just create even more big problem. So that's why Krishna creates this Maushala Leela. So, and because no one can kill them, Vishnu, they are so powerful, they fight among themselves and kill, and they die. No? So, and to do this, they should get a curse. And what is the curse? Samba, Krishna's son, one of Krishna's son or grandson, Krishna's son, he actually, yeah, he actually was, क्या बोलते हैं, what do you call, he is trying to trick the rishis. So he is acting like a pregnant woman. He says, and then all the other boys are asking that, my dear rishis, can you tell me whether it's a boy or girl, or who's going to be? And then rishis get angry and they say, whoever is that is going to be born, that is going to be the end of your vamsh, like that they say. And because the rishis have said it, Krishna says, okay. So what happened? When they opened it, they saw a big club, iron club, in Samba's, and they took that iron club to Ugrasen and said, ऐसा ऐसा हुआ है, क्या करना है? Ugrasen was so much upset. Oh, why did you do this? Why did you play these funny things with the rishis? They are to be respected. This is again a lesson Krishna is actually teaching. And he said, okay, don't worry. You just make all this club into fine powder and then throw it in the ocean. So they threw that everything into the ocean. But the edge of that club, they could not grind it. So उनको भी ऐसे ही फेंक दिए ocean में. So from whatever this iron thing that's been thrown, the grass has come, which is almost like a iron rods. And this one small piece, a fish swallowed it. Fisherman caught it, and then he cut the fish. He got it. He gave it to this hunter, and the hunter put it in the arrow, and he shot it. So much. So all this. So Krishna, for people, he creates Samoham Sarva Bhuteshu Name Dvesho Stina Priya. People get bewildered when they see this activity. People who don't have faith in him, they get bewildered. Are Krishna bhi mar gaya na? So for those people, okay, let them think like that. Krishna says. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.